Hi everyone, I'm Rachel,
And I'm Lakshmi.
and welcome to Quarantine Times with Lakshmi and Rachel. So for today, boy, do we have a lineup for you. We'll be interviewing Michelle Jin about how she feels about shelter in place and their overall online schooling experience.
Then we'll talk about a more serious topic, the Black Lives Matter movement.
And finally, we'll close it all out with some baking fun.
But first, here's a segment we like to call How Do You Feel?
Basically, at the beginning of every podcast, we're gonna pick a random adjective that describes an emotion and talk about an experience that we may have felt that way.
Today's adjective is disappointed.
Whoa, didn't know that. Okay, so I'll talk about the time. I'll talk about today, actually. So I ordered a bunch of posters for my room because, like many people in quarantine, I've been trying to revamp my room. And they literally arrived at the post office that's I live in Saratoga, and so they're at the post office in Saratoga and they've been there for 2 days and it's still in transit, and they were supposed to come today, but they still haven't come. And I'm really disappointed in my post office because they have chosen not to give me my posters. So that's my little story. What about you?
That's annoying. So my disappointed story is that, like everyone in quarantine, I've been trying to bake and stuff like that. So being the person I am, I decided to bake macaroons, and apparently they're really hard to make. And I did 2 batches and I failed both times, so I was really disappointed in myself. That's my
They're really hard. My sister one time tried to make them and they stuck to the parchment paper. They get sucked.
They're
No
so
offense, it sucked.
they have to be crispy and chewy.
It's really hard to, I don't know. That's why I just buy them. They taste good lots. So. Okay, moving on, we would like to introduce our special guest.
Michelle Jin!
Okay, so we're gonna ask you a couple questions about how you feel about the quarantine online school experience. So our first online quarantine school experience just ended. So overall, how did you feel about it?
I thought it was kind of hard to focus just because of the amount of screen time that we had. But I think that the school actually did really well in terms of adapting to the whole situation because a lot of teachers still managed to get through the material that we needed to.
Yeah. Did you miss seeing your friends on a day-to-day basis, like at lunch and after school?
I'm really busy often, so I don't really have that much time anyways, to I guess spend with friends. I think honestly, even though I wasn't in person with all of my friends, I just had a lot more time to just relax and connect with friends. So it was fine anyways.
What is the first thing you think you'll do once COVID is over?
I mean, I just hope that school reopens just so we all kind of get back our normal lives and we can just go to school every day. But I mean, in general, right now, beaches are open, right? And you can go on hikes and go on walks outside. So it's not like we're completely isolated and secluded inside. So I don't think it'll make that much of a difference.
Thank you for your smart input, Michelle. We greatly appreciate your presence, and
okay, you're welcome.
We love you. Goodbye. Hey, so that was fun.
Okay, now if you haven't been living under a rock, you've obviously heard about the recent Black Lives Matter and race-related protests. You've obviously heard about the recent Black Lives Matter and race-related protests.
In light of multiple recent killings of innocent Black people, such as Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and Ahmaud Arbery by police officers, America as a united community came together and protested, advocated, and did anything in their power to stop the unnecessary violence.
One of the worst things about this is that racism has been going on for centuries, and it's not a new subject. Human equality should not be a controversial topic of discussion. We're all humans, no matter our skin color.
There are still so many different ways that everyone can help, even if you can't attend protests. Sign petitions, donate, watch educational videos, or even just call out racism whenever you see it.
Every contribution someone makes, big or small, will make a difference, even if it doesn't seem like it.
Don't treat Black Lives Matter as a trend on social media or a temporary thing. We can't let our voices die down. Okay. Hey, Moldinator, on a lighter note, I have a joke for you. What do you call a dog with no legs?
What?
It doesn't matter what you call him, he isn't coming.
That's, that's so.
Okay. So we both made cookies over the past week.
It was pretty fun.
Okay. Yeah, I made a recipe. It was called Big Fat Chunky Cookies. What about you?
Mine was just a normal chocolate chip cookie recipe.
Ha. Okay, so funny story. My recipe called for 3/4 of a cup of butter, but I thought that 2 half cups equaled 2/4, even though like 2/4 is the same as just half. And I didn't realize until like I had melted it all and like mixed it all into my dough. But they tasted okay, so I think we're good.
Oh my god, that's so bad. But don't worry, once my friend put a cup of salt instead of a cup of sugar.
Did they did they taste good?
Oh, no, they did not taste good.
Well, that's all the time we have for today.
Thanks for tuning into an episode of Quarantine Times with your favorites.